Dropkick Murphys on the Spirit of Rock, CHOM 97.7, and the boys are back. I couldn't think of a more fitting song to intro the three people in the studio with me, because the boys definitely are back in the studio. And these three guys, probably over the last couple of decades, maybe 3 decades, have booked, I would say, thousands and thousands and thousands of shows. When you want to talk about who was the first guy to book this band, who was the first guy to book that band, it's very, very safe to say that one of these three gentlemen were responsible for that, if it had anything to do with rock and roll, punk, heavy metal. In the studio with me, I've got Nick Farkas, Paget Williams, and Dan Webster. What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
You guys are, it was funny because you guys have announced this festival a few months back called the Montreal, 77 Montreal. And it's fun to be here prepping for this and listening to you guys discussing quite actively and quite vocally where you're going to name the stages.
Yeah, we're very creative.
We'll take suggestions. You can call in, and maybe if you have a great name, you might get a free T-shirt or something.
Okay, what I first want to know is, because I mean, a lot of our listeners, unless you're someone that's in the music business, you don't realize how important these guys have played, roles they played in the Montreal music scene. But how did you guys start booking shows, and how did this all come about?
Well, it's a really long time ago.
Dan, I mean, obviously you're kind of like I guess you're kind of like the dad figure here when it comes to booking, right?
He's the elder statesman.
Maybe like big brother, not quite dad.
Yeah, because you look younger than both these guys.
Yeah, that's right. So I just started booking shows because a lot of people around me thought shows needed to happen,
right?
And I actually played in a band way back when, but I found that once I started to produce the shows, I was better at producing shows.
We saw his band. He was definitely better.
A lot of people were very thankful that
what was it?
A band member to a promoter.
What was the name of your band?
I was in a band called the Diefenbakers.
Okay, and were you guys good?
We were awesome.
What about Punk New Wave?
Didn't you manage
Punk New Wave was a very successful band. We put out a lot of records. When you went into the store back in the day and you had that whole bin with all the different Punk New Waves.
That was your band?
Sam the Record Band, that was us.
You were Punk New Wave.
You may have seen them at Budokan.
Didn't you manage the Asexuals at one point too?
Yes, I did. We were very early on.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, I remember you because you judged a contest that my band played very, very early on at Backstreet, and I just remember you were this like crazy drunk guy in a suit. And you really liked our band. You were like, good. And after that, we ended up getting to know you two guys who booked our first Canadian tour. So I've known you guys for a long, long time. Obviously, this is when you look at a festival like this. This is a labor of love. You can tell right away. This is something that you guys wanted to do. This isn't something you had to do, right? Am I right?
I think it was definitely.
Is that a safe assumption?
Safe assumption. I mean, we've been talking about it for...
Because y'all have enough on your plate, so it's not like you need to do another festival, but this looks like something like, okay, I want to do this.
It was something that we've been talking about for a long time, but it was more about, like you said, it's more of a labor of love. It's more about fun.
Yeah.
And, it was just something that we finally had the right opportunity to do with Osheaga and all the other festivals on the site.
Yeah.
That we could use the stage. So it's been a fun. It's fun working with these guys again because we don't always work that closely anymore. But it's been fun to rekindle the old animosity and
brings
fight.
up all sorts of old stories, old stupidities.
But also in terms of the musical style, we do a lot of music like this, and we don't have one big event that encompasses it all.
Yeah, like some of the bands that are on this festival, will come through Montreal fairly regularly, but to have them all together, at one place during one day at a very reasonable ticket price as well. I mean, that's one thing I've gotten from a lot of people that are talking about this. Like, man, I've spent more money to see one of these bands alone, so to get them all for $60 is pretty much a good deal. So
that's what we were hoping for. We were hoping people would say.
Did you originally try to do the $7 ticket thing? Or?
We were thinking like 97.7.
We wanted it to be free.
I could see doing that. You like that kind of guy that you'd want to try to do it for free.
No,
that's not true.
All right, so if you haven't checked out the lineup yet, and the guys are going to stay in the studio with me for a while. We're going to play some music in some of the bands that are on the festival, but the lineup is pretty damn impressive. Rancid, Dropkick Murphys, X are going to be here doing the 40th anniversary tour. The Vandals, Bouncing Souls, Madball, who I'm really excited about. Jake Burns, original member of Stiff Little Fingers, the Kingpins, Joyce Manor, the Creep Show, and more and more. And you also have Genetic Control, which we're going to play a song from as well. When you're putting a festival like this,
you have a Gen Con song?
I have a Gen Con song, thanks to Paget. Yes, I do. But okay, I'm going to be really, really transparent, and I've said this to many people. I'm a massive, massive fan of this band. So we're going to talk some more. The guys are going to hang out. We're going to play a lot of bands that are on this festival. But I am going to be selfish right now and play the band that I am the most excited to see on this festival.
Jason's going to stage dive off his desk
right now, and this is probably the first time that this band has ever been played on CHOM, and I'm glad because I know I won't get fired for playing it.
Look my way, don't hide your face and shame. You roll the same. I don't need your respect. I'm proud to say we've held strong through the years. Come this far and I see very clear. You fake a smile to show me how much you care. You hypocrites get no respect over here. I know you gave me. I keep going strong. You can't face me. I keep moving on. I see right through your games and all your phony ways. In my world you have no say. Go your way, cause I know there'll be a day when you'll be forced to look my way. I'm proud to say we've always kept it real. No need to flaunt or hide the way I feel. You live a lie, afraid to look me in the eye. You have a lot to say, so speak your mind. I know you gave me. I keep going strong. You can't fake me. I keep moving on. I'm not to blame when all your shit blows up in your face. I'm not to blame, cause I was bound to put you in your place. I'm not to blame for all the time that you were afraid to just look my way. You hide your face in shame, cause you have no integrity. And to me you're all the same. I don't need your respect. I'm proud to say we've held strong through the years. We've come this far and I see very clear. You fake a smile to show me how much you care. You hypocrites get no respect over here. I know you gave me. I keep going slow. You can't face me. I keep moving on. You know.
Madball and the Spirit of Rock, CHOM 97.7 from the album Look My Way, and you'll be able to see them on the festival that we are talking about right now. In the studio with me, I have got the three gentlemen that are responsible for this festival, Nick, Page, and Dan. Tell me when you book a band, and I like this. Page is like texting the singer of Madball and saying, "Hey, we're playing you right now on like a major rock radio station." What's been the band that you guys have wanted to see on this festival? That was kind of like the tougher one to get that you ended up getting. Who was the toughest one to book?
It's probably X, just because they haven't toured and they've never.
I've never seen them. That's what I'm excited to see.
I saw them in LA like 12 years ago in like a 500 cap club, and it was awesome.
I saw them in Montreal at the Spectrum in 1983. The time that they came here.
That was the last time
I'd seen them before that out in Alberta, and I also saw them at Irvine Meadows Amphitheater, and the first opening band was Jane's Addiction, the second band was Social Distortion.
Okay.
And X was headlining. They were very popular back then. And the other bands were just coming up. But they're a great old band, and I think everybody really is looking forward to seeing them.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's, you look at a name like that and you're like, what? Like, really? So I think it's one of those opportunities. And especially after having like a 2016 that we had, where you never know when someone's going to be here from day to day. It's always nice to try to catch somebody. Like, that was the reason why I went to Bob Dylan last week, because I was like, I know I'm going to be asleep the whole time at the show, but I've got to see Dylan one last time because he might not come through again.
Well, you hear X and you look back at the old film that was made by Penelope Spheris, Decline of Western Civilization.
Yeah.
And they were featured very
prominently.
prominently in that.
Yeah.
And they were one of the originators of the LA scene.
It's what about a band like TSOL? Would they be a band you'd want to get?
For sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing that we were talking before we went on air. I mean, you start something like this, and then you start to say, well, we could have this band, which obviously shows that this is a festival that could sustain itself with the bands. When you look at the just the genre and all the split genres that happened in those early years, when you couldn't really define, was it punk rock, or like Dan was saying that his first punk rock band, first memory is Blondie.
That's
Which
right.
a lot of people wouldn't remember as a punk band, but they definitely were in that genre. And it was kind of that era where, like, what you can't really.
Well, no, the bands
there
like
were no genres back
Yeah, well, that's it. You can't really put your finger on it. It just kind of
the thrash band,
Yeah.
the hardcore band. Everybody just played together. Now everything's all segregated.
Yeah. We're going to play another band that's going to be on the festival as well. And we've got new music from this band that I'm going to play a little later on. It's going to be my big, shiny new song of the week. But this is probably one of my favorite songs from them. Rancid, right here on CHOM.
Microwave refrigerators full of tough. Come on, baby, why you show me what you got?
voted Cult Montreal's best sandwich in Montreal, 3rd year in a row. Thanks, Montreal. You gotta love a Dagwood sandwich. Now open in Laval, on Saint-Martin, corner Daniel Johnson.
La Grande Tournée is powered by Cirque Éloise, 19 neighborhood parties featuring Montreal's 19 boroughs. Each neighborhood will have its turn in the spotlight, where you'll discover their particular story and local flavor. Get in on the exhibits, gourmet tastings, circus and music performances, rallies, and so much more.
This weekend, July 7th to 9th, Parc de la Promenade Belle-Rive is the place to be to celebrate Mercier Hochelaga Maisonneuve.
La Grande Tournée, official programming of the 375th.
Soaring tensions on the Korean Peninsula. This is Beverly Thompson. Tonight on CTV National News. Alarming back and forth displays of military might. Full details tonight at 11 on CTV National News.
The Vandals on the Spirit of Rock, CHOM 97.7, one of the bands that you are going to be able to see this this summer on the 77 Montreal Festival. In the studio with me, I have got Nick, Dan, and Paget, what do I call you guys, the co-creators? What's that?
Yeah, but we also have to shout out to Nancy at Greenland, who's been a big part of this. And also some other people at Evenko, like Pat, who's one of the main coordinators and doing a lot of work.
Gabe,
JF. You might know the other Pat at Evenko.
Yeah, the other Pat. Who is this other Pat?
So it's a whole team.
Tell me, when you hear a song like that, like the Vandals, would you remember the first time you saw them? And who's the biggest Vandals fans out of you three guys?
I think the first time I saw him was in that movie.
Yeah,
right?
Suburbia.
Yeah, that was a great track.
Another Penelope Spheres film.
Yeah, so we go way back with the Vandals.
First time friends. Joe was at my wedding.
But okay, so that's the thing, and a lot of these bands that you guys have booked over the years, you've remained friends with, and
they're
these
like
are
family, man.
Right. Like you're texting people saying that we're playing the songs and stuff. That kind of is symbolic of what the punk community is like. I mean, and when these bands are coming through, you get a band like Rancid or Dropkick, if they're coming through on their first tours, a lot of the times they're not coming through on a bus. They're coming through maybe sleeping on somebody's floor. Like that's how you develop.
Bands were sleeping on my parents' floor.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of the experiences, because I know you, Paget, you'd have a lot of bands that would come through and stay with you. Tell me some of the craziest stories, or one of the craziest stories of a band staying at your house.
You know what? The remarkable thing about all the bands of, over close to 10 years that we all lived in that apartment.
Yeah.
Only once did we get robbed. and it was the first band that ever stayed with us. It was DI.
Really?
Yeah, and somebody in California caught wind afterwards and went and, like, to their show and thumped the guy.
Really?
How could you do that?
And this,
You know,
and you're talking
they were of hundreds of bands that stayed at our house. Only one person stole from us or it wasn't cool. Other than that, it was,
so
we
there's
opened our doors.
Right.
But
it was fun though. I mean, I think having bands stay at your place. I mean, when we go on the road, we'd stay at other people's houses and like stay when Dave was in. Grohl was in Scream, and we stayed at his mom's house, like Virginia, on our way to Miami, which was like the only vacation we could afford was to drive 24 hours to Miami. So it was always if Dave was there or not, Dave's mom would put us up.
I had some of Guar stay at my house.
Okay.
And
did they make a mess, or were they actually very
there was
very
a lot
neat?
of stuff left in the shower afterwards.
Because they showered after their show.
I guess that it looked like plastic skin and stuff like that.
Would you like Gore to stay at your house now?
No.
We still have bands staying at my house occasionally.
Yeah, I still have bands staying at my house too. Even my parents have bands staying at their house. We had 300 people to my parents' house for a barbecue with 17 tour buses out in the townships for Warped Tour.
Oh God.
It was hysterical. Mom, Dad, we're having some friends over for lunch.
I've got the three of the people responsible out of many for the 77 Montreal Festival. It's going to be happening July 28th at Parc Jean Drapeau. And here is one of the bands that's going to be headlining the festival. It's the Dropkick Murphys on CHOM. Dropkick Murphys on the Spirit of Rock, CHOM 97.7. I want to ask you guys, the last time I saw Dropkick Murphys, they're not big fans of the Montreal Canadiens, eh?
No, not big fans of Adams. They're big Bruins fans.
What did they do on stage?
At Heavy, the singer, I think it was the singer's kid, came out and he had a stuffed
Little
Yuppie doll.
effigy,
and beat the snot out of it.
The
with a
bejesus
baseball
out of
bat,
it?
yeah. It didn't go over so well with the fans at the time, but they were loving it. I thought it was pretty cool.
It doesn't matter, though, because I think at that point, nobody really cares about the rivalry anymore. People just want to see the Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah. I mean, it's never stopped people from coming out, regardless of where they're from. And
probably some of the nicest guys that you'll ever meet.
Very nice people.
Yeah.
There's another band that's on the festival, Genetic Control. Paj, you sent me a song.
I did.
Tell me a bit about this song.
About Love Rats?
Yeah.
It's a very old song.
Okay, it's old. That's good, yeah.
No, it's really cool to get these guys playing. And they will definitely, they'll bring out some of the local oldies, that's for sure.
Do you have any good Genetic Control stories?
I can
Dude,
tell
I
you.
was a kid. Yeah, Dan, they drunken stupidity.
Dan, I can tell you that I remember them playing at the Blurry Beach Club, which was a little place on Blurry Street, just up from where the Imperial Theater is and the Place de Festival is.
On the east side of the street.
This one big kid, he was about 16, Junior. Remember Junior?
Yeah.
Junior was huge, and people were thrashing so hard. It was a very small space. He fell over. He fell on Mike, the singer of Genetic Control, and broke his leg.
Oh.
That happened to Hazy
during
Asia,
the
too.
show.
Remember that?
At DRI.
DRI, Hazy Asia singer broke his leg. Yeah.
He jumped up in the air to do some fancy thing off Ram's drum kit, and he came down and his knee just went crack.
That was not good.
And
Well-
then basically played the rest of the set sort of sitting on the floor.
Probably be all healed up by now, though, right?
I seem to remember that show not doing very well either.
A lot of the shows back in those days did not do very well. It's surprising we're still here.
You'll be able to see Genetic Control on July 28th. Here they are, Love Rat on CHOM.
There's a rap that I'm trying now. Just pick up Paget and then watch him go. There's no end to what you can do when a love rat is a deep in you. Alright, 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 alright. There's a little rat in everyone. Some ignore it while some think he's fun. Knock down a creature that plays at night. A twisted mind and a lethal bite. Alright, 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 alright. Love rat is something that's always around. In every bar, in every town, brings people together. There's sex on demand, breaks them apart at the same time. Love rat is something that's always around. In every bar, in every town, go! Alright, 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 alright. Just grab whatever you can. Don't strike out because you're a man. And people know you for what you are. You're with the rat, then you go too far. Alright, 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 alright. Love rat is something that's always around. In every bar, in every town, brings people together. That's sex on demand, brings them apart at the same time. Love rat is something that's always around. In every bar, in every town. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Genetic Control on the Spirit of Rock, CHOM 97.7. I'm pretty sure that's the first time that's been said.
What?
Genetic Control on the Spirit of Rock, CHOM 97.7.
Oh,
You know what? Back in the day when Primitive Air Raid came out with all these Montreal bands,
Very.
CHOM was good enough to
Yeah.
let us come in and play it. It was very shocking for everybody, but it got played.
Claude Rajat used to play some pretty...
Claude played
on
all.
Sunday nights.
Yeah,
Played
absolutely.
Bad Brains a bunch.
And Jay Walker continues to push the boundaries on Sunday nights as well. So, did any of you guys think you would ever do this for a living? Because pretty much all three of you guys are still involved. You know, obviously, you're putting festivals like this on. You guys are still pretty much have your feet wet in this.
I don't think any of us, I mean, personally, I'm speaking for myself. I never, ever thought we would make a living doing this. Like, it was really just about, like Dan said earlier, we wanted to see bands and bands weren't coming. So we figured out a way to get them to come to town. And that was really.
We love doing it.
So it was really out of a love for music, which
100%.
And it's a good example for anyone. If you're going to do something in life and you really want to succeed at it, do something you love.
You have to be passionate about it. And I don't think that, it's cliched to say, but it was a scene, right? We all felt like we were part of something bigger and more that was important. And I think that kind of carries over and motivates you to keep going.
It was interesting last night after the barbecue. Me and TJ from the Asexuals walked back to NDG and just talking about all the friendships and the time, friendships that span 30, almost 40 years.
Yeah.
And people that are like family, and in some cases that are closer to us than our family.
Right.
and you know, that have been there for you in moments where, you know, you need somebody, and the scene was a family, you know, and it's cool to see 30 and change years later, all these people that are still friends and still, you know, we don't see each other as often as we did before. You know, before it was like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights.
Right.
And but everyone's still got that bond, that friendship, and that's a really good thing.
And that's the thing too with that community too. Like the punk rock community has always been about community, and it's always been about, you know, putting a hand down and lifting somebody else up. So
that's right.
Yeah.
There's another band that's going to be playing on the festival that is a Montreal band that I like a lot, and they're kind of a bit different than anything else on this festival. I would say they almost fall kind of, well, they're a ska band, but it works.
Yeah, they're not sort of, they are.
They're a ska band.
But if you look at the origins of punk rock, ska was right there, and it was the mix of different cultures.
And that's what I was saying. Like that's getting back to that,
punky,
you know,
reggae party, man.
Yeah. You know, when you get back to that era of music, it was kind of like anything went. You know,
that's right.
So to focus a festival on that kind of era of music when anything kind of went and there was no rules.
Exactly.
Good idea. So here they are, a Montreal band that is going to be playing. Is this a new song? Because you sent me some of this stuff. Do you know if this is new?
It was remixed recently, or I think it was recently put up on iTunes. So yes.
Okay. Well,
let's call it a new song.
Okay.
A new old song.
A new old song by the Kingpins right here. It's called Last Train to Expo 67. Here it is on CHOM.
Are you coming? Get on board. Let's go have a ball. Yeah, get on board. Let's go swinging on. Yeah.
My friend, neither no ticket, no. You just jump right on, 'cause it's fun for all.
Spirit of Rock, CHOM 97.7, and the Kingpins. That was Last Train to Expo 67. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out, man. It's been fun.
We
Thanks
really
for having
appreciate it,
us,
man.
And it's nice to kind of take over the airwaves and just like play what you want.
Thanks for being part of the community.
I try. We got brand new music from Rancid, which is going to be my big shiny new song of the week. Any burning desires before we leave?
We also at this festival.
Yeah, because there's more going on than just bands.
Things going on. We have some film screenings. We're going to announce the full program. Actually, there's a press release coming out tomorrow. We're not going to announce it all now.
Okay.
And we'll have on site a bunch of different attractions. Some memorabilia.
It's going to be a record fair. I saw
some old vinyl collectors and just a lot of comfort areas for people of all ages, because punks are of all ages and multi-generational.
Children under 10 free.
Yeah, bring your kids.
Really? Children under 10 free?
Children under 10 free. And also just what part of the idea for this thing is to literally have a living archive. So we're hoping as the website comes together that we're going to be able to accumulate people's memories, posters, flyers from the last 40 years.
So please, we encourage you to go to the website and sign up and give us your email address.
77montreal.com.
Yep.
And the plan is, if this thing does well, you're going to keep doing it.
Well, we'll just keep doing it anyways.
Even if it doesn't do well.
We definitely have bands to fill it up.
That was the most punk rock thing you guys have said tonight. We're going to do it anyways. Guys, thanks so much for coming in. You have to go to this festival. It's going to be happening on the 28th of July. I've already requested the day off for this, and I want to try to broadcast from there. 77 Montreal, lots of great bands that are going to be playing. Check out the entire lineup, and this band is one of our headliners as well. Rancid, brand new music from them. This is Bover Rock and Roll on CHOM. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Big heavy shoes and rolled up jeans, motorcycle boots, cheap gasoline. Detroit engine knows how to scream. 2 tons of chaos, American gym. Cambodia is now on fire. Richard Nixon is a goddamn liar. Silver coffin flying back on the bay. Dirty Harry just shot the SLA. Charlie O won 3 in a row. Green and gold just stole the show. Inflation rise, take the pain. 2 block lines just to feel the tank. Rock and roll, man, HFT. Peace and love now, war and hate. Sun's coming up, man, we deal